Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and today I'm reviewing 3 games from Detestable Games. All 3 of these were part of the same crowdfunding campaign. There's Pátzcuaro, there's Cosmic Cow Collectors, and Neuro Riders, and I'm going to go through briefly how to play each of these and then give you my thoughts on those games. As usual, we will be going in order of lowest to highest rated, so if you're staying tuned for the best, make sure to use those timestamps or just watch the entire video. That is your choice. But we're going to start with Neuro Riders. Neuro Riders, I don't know thematically what this game is. You're investigating the mind or something. I don't entirely know, but effectively it is a hidden scoring game where you're all operating with a shared board and then trying to see who can get the most points through manipulation of the shared environment. That's the general idea. You're going to be tracking the various points of the colors on this track over here, moving them up, trying to gain points, although you do want to be mindful because the color that gains the most points will actually have a bust effect to a degree, and there's also a whole process I'm not going to get into because it's a little confusing called crystallization, which will be removing from your score as well. But the general idea is you're going to have these little meeples that are going to be wandering around these tiles. You're also going to have action cards. I'm not going to get into those right now. I'm trying to give you a general overview. But you're going to have these rooms, and you're going to have a starter room. The character's going to be on them. And as you play rooms, what you're going to be doing, let's put the guy right side up over here. As you play rooms, you're going to play a room, and then if people are 1 to 2 spots away, you're going to move them to that room. Specifically, for example, this room, let's zoom in a drop further over there. In this room, you can see there's an orange and a pink. So that means orange, because it's only 1 room away, will move into there through that white door, which is a double white door. Pink's also going to move into that room as well. Then you're going to be moving up in points based on the colors of the doors and the meeples. Specifically, as you pass through doors that are matching, this is a matching door over here, you're going to move up that many points, 1 point for each meeple that pass through. Had you moved a white meeple through that door, you're going to move it up 2 points instead. Now, if you ever move through unmatched doors, you don't get points for unmatched doors. And so you're trying to go ahead and move up on these tracks based on your secret scoring objectives. So effectively, the game comes down to playing a tile, putting the tile down, watching who runs towards that door and whether those doors are matched or unmatched. So for example, this situation right here, we have 2 matched doors. We're going to move orange through there over there. That means orange is going to move up 2 points. And then you're going to move white through this door over here. And because it's pink, you're going to move up pink 1 point, but it's not the matching meeple, so you won't move up it again. Now, in general, the meeples move if they are 1 or 2 spaces away. So you're kind of trying to just place tiles down and have the meeples move across the board in order to generate points for your color. Game end will be triggered when one of the colors gets to 20. There's a few ways game can end, but one of the ways will be when the colors gets to 20, you'll bust that color and you'll score points accordingly based on your hidden roles in the game. So it's kind of a shared board environment and then trying to make sure you don't give away too much about what you're trying to get done because other players can stop you better if they know what you're trying to get done. Neuro Riders is a cute game to an extent. I think there are a few things that hold the game back for me. First of all, I will say I found the rules needlessly confusing given the actual weight of the game. I thought that the rules I didn't think were well structured, and that actually did hold back the game for me. It meant that I was walking in already being a little bit, feeling it's not a complicated game to actually teach and get people up and running on, but the rule book is unnecessarily complicated, and especially when it comes to the crystallizing stuff, I just thought it was really poorly done from the rule stats, the rule standpoint. Outside of that, though, the game itself is fine. There's something fun to a certain degree about trying to move things around within rooms and trying to find that optimization of I can place this down. But you are playing one of those hidden games where you're trying not to be too obvious, but if you're not too obvious, you won't score well. If you're too obvious, people can block you. There's this little delicate balance. There's a lot of games out there that have this kind of strategic hidden role aspect. It's not a full hidden role game, but there's a strategy to trying to keep yourself hidden. Ultimately, I thought the game was fine. It wasn't bad. It wasn't particularly good. It's a 3 out of 5. I almost wanted to give it a 2.5 because the rules I thought, again, were unnecessarily fiddly for what it is, but I think the gameplay itself is a 3 out of 5. It is not bad, it is not good, it is a totally passable game that if you're looking for a game that gives you that kind of hidden aspect, this is not bad. I just think there are better games out there. Moving on to Cosmic Cow Collectors. Cosmic Cow Collectors is a lot of craziness and fun as you try to invade various planets. You see, the general idea of this game, if I can open the box over here, is you are aliens trying to invade planets. You're trying to get your cow population higher to 120 before the other players. To that end, you're going to have your player board over here. You're going to be tracking the various cows you have. You start the game with 10. You're trying to get it higher. You have your various markers to make sure you can go above the 50 over here. And then every turn, you're taking 1 of 3 actions. But before you do that, you're going to have a card which represents your planet. Now, you're going to be selecting that from a few cards, so you do have some agency over that. But for example, right now, now this planet has up to 10 cows that I can invade per turn, which brings us to the 3 actions you take. Because every turn you take one of these 3 actions, and if your pawn is on one of those actions, you have to take a different action. So you can't keep repeating the same action. And those actions are either gathering cows, invading a planet, or alternatively drawing more cards. And so when you do that, invading cows, or gathering cows, what you do is you basically declare a number that is equal to or less than your planet. So I can declare any number that is 10 or lower. I could say 5, for example, at which point I would gain 5 cows. I would move my cow marker up by 5, plus 1 for each planet I've invaded, which granted we haven't talked about yet. Alternatively, your next option is to invade. Now when you invade, you get 3 invasion attempts, but you basically go to people's planets and you declare the number that you think their planet is. This is where you're paying attention to what players have declared, because players ideally want to declare a higher number because it gets them to 120 cows faster. But the higher you go, the less of room there is to actually wonder what planet there is that's yours. If you say 12, well, how many planets actually have that or lower? And so there's this game of trying to go a little bit lower, because that gives more of a range of where players have to guess, but also a little bit higher because it means you get points faster. Meanwhile, when players take their invasion attempts, if they do guess correctly, you'll lose your planet, you'll have to replace it with another one from your hand or the top of the deck if your hand is empty, and then you'll possibly lose 5 points as well, 5 cows as well. Meanwhile, the person who successfully invaded your planet, they're getting a planet that they can now use. Whenever they gather cows, you get plus 1 cow for every planet you've invaded. And the last action will let you go ahead and draw cards, giving you a bit more choice and flexibility there, possibly ways of getting points as well. The game's going to rinse and repeat until a player gets to 120 cows, and that's all that's really going on here. Cosmic Cow Collectors is a weird one. It is fun. Like, if you're looking for a game that has zany fun, this is a good one to introduce, especially to non-gamers. It's a good gateway, not really hit and roll, because it's not... I mean, it's hit and roll to an extent if the role is your planet, but it is a cute little concept that does have laughs and fun and is very accessible because of how little there actually is going on in the game. For me, this is a 3 out of 5. I can't say it's that great. It's a little bit too one note as far as what it does, and I don't think it's that interesting. Like, when I'm thinking of that little mind bluff you have in other games, I'd rather play a game like Coup over Cosmic Cow Collectors. It gives me that same feeling, but with a lot more going on and a lot more strategy. The reason this one is higher than Neuro Riders is I do think this is actually a good choice. Like, for me, Neuro Riders is weird because I think there's just other games I'd recommend over it, period, full stop. Cosmic Cow Collectors, on the other hand, for me, it's a 3 out of 5. But I do think it has a charm and an appeal that would make this a good one to introduce to a non-gamer group, and they would have a lot of fun with it. It's just that kind of craziness that I do think there's a good target audience for this. I just don't think on that target audience. So a 3 out of 5 with a caveat that if you have that group of friends that likes drinking and doesn't like all your crazy rules in your games, this could be a good one for them. Or even just family friendly. This has a family friendliness. It's a great way to introduce kids to hit and roll games because of like how dialed down it's. What it does well. I just think I'm looking for more complexity in my personal experience, but what it does well. Like, for context, I haven't even decided if I'm getting rid of this one yet. I think I have not played this with my kids yet. I think they'd enjoy it. I think they would have that accessibility to it. Anyways, moving on, and lastly, we have Pátzcuaro. Pátzcuaro is the best one of the group. Again, it's weird. Well, we'll talk about it then. We'll talk about it at the end. Pátzcuaro, to me, is the best one from a gameplay standpoint, although it's not without its flaws. The general idea of this game is a set collection, which both is going to go for a general set collection, as well as the specific goals and objectives you have in play. So let me go ahead and show you some cards so you can get a better sense of things. But effectively, this actually gives you what you need to know right now. You're going to be trying to build a pyramid out of these various cards. So, for example, let's go ahead and just try to build a pyramid so you can know what you're working your way towards. Let's say I had this on my bottom row over here. This could be, I'm not gonna overthink this. I'm gonna lay out a bunch of cards. Let's put this over here. Great, done over there. Then I'm gonna put this over here, and let's go ahead and gather. I don't know, what do I need? I'm gonna put this over here, and then let's get one more card. I'm specifically just grabbing cards so I can show you how this works over here. But let's put this over here. There we go. That's gonna be our level 2 over here, and then we're gonna zoom out because I want to show you level 3. So if we zoom out a drop so I can show you level 3 over here, because this is a pyramid you're trying to build, although I haven't taught you about how you actually build in the pyramid. And let's say lastly, I'll go ahead and place this up here, and just for the speed, I'll place this over here. What you're going to do is at the end of the game, you're going to score points based on the levels of your pyramid. On the lowest level, you'll select 3 different items and score 1 point for each item. That's what it shows here, 3 different items, 1 point each item. So for example, I can select candles, and then maybe I'll select I guess, candles and lollies and these buns over here. It's not a lot of points, but as it is, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go, I got 8 points for the bottom level. On the next level, I'm going to select skulls and tops, and I'm going to get 2 points for each item. So again, you select 2 items, 2 points each. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I get 18 points level 2. And the third level, you only select 1 item, but you get 3 points for each item. So I'm going to select the bottles over here, and I'll get 3 points per bottle, which is going to be a total of 9 points for level 3. That's the basic points you're going to score. But there's also going to be goals in play, and those goals are going to give you, well, more ways of scoring points. They're going to give you different things you're trying to go for. In addition to the basic idea, for every set of those, you're going to get 5 points. So you have different ways of scoring additional points based on the goals that are in play, and there's a bunch of those giving you a lot of different ways to score points in the game. The tricky part is you're also trying to gather the cards. How do you get all these cards? Because all I really did is I showed you how you scored. I didn't show you how you get the cards. And to that end, I'm actually going to show you the back of the box because I think it's a little bit easier. But what you do is on the back of the box over here, let me just put this away. What you're going to do is you're going to have a little bit of a rondelle mechanism with your little meeple that's wandering around in the circle taking various actions. So specifically over here, you're going to have a little 4 cards set up with cards on each side. And then as you move around the rondelle, you're taking various actions that will let you gather cards in all kinds of different ways. That's the basic puzzle of Pátzcuaro. So you use a rondelle mechanism to gather cards, not just based on going to the place and gathering a card, but rather the specific action at that place and how you gather the cards. Those cards are going to go into a pyramid, and then you score the pyramid based on the objectives, and then based on 3, 2, 1 on each row. That's what's going on in Pátzcuaro. Pátzcuaro is divided up into 2 parts. There's the pyramid you're building and then the gathering process. The pyramid you're building, I actually like that process. I like the idea of trying to figure out the right cards to get and then how to score them both based on the cards themselves as well as the variable objectives game to game. I overall really enjoyed that puzzle. The actual rondelle gathering, I feel that wasn't as clean as I would have liked. It felt a little bit needlessly complex and slowed down the game. Like when I played this game, I kind of thought of Skulls of Sedlec as far as gathering cards into a little pyramid and then scoring them based on different criteria. But I think the selection process in Skulls of Sedlec is significantly simpler. Versus in Pátzcuaro, I didn't think the selection process was as good as I would have liked. Like I said, the biggest issue I had with it is it felt a little convoluted towards this drafting mechanism. I feel that there's a better way to actually have gathered the cards, but that said, the rest of the cards themselves is a fun little scoring puzzle. Overall, I come in at a 3.5 out of 5. There's definitely things to like about Pátzcuaro, but again, it's kind of divided into 2 parts. One part I liked, and one part I felt was a little more fiddly than I'm looking for. And so that's what we have over here. We have Neuroriders coming in at a 3 out of 5. It's a good game. I enjoyed myself. I just don't know if it's necessarily anything I would write home about, and the rules definitely felt were a little bit more complicated than they needed to be. Cosmic Cow Collectors, for me it's a 3 out of 5, but I do think that there's a little bit more going on here as far as the target audience for this. I think this is good, zany fun. I think this is good for people who don't want all the rules in games, but you want to pull them in, or again, family friendly. And then Pátzcuaro has a little bit more going on. I enjoyed the set collection process, but ultimately it's one that I think I like one half of the game a lot, and the other part is just passable for me. So we have a 3, a 3, and a 3.5. That's going to be your 3 games from Detestable Games. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.